Welcome to this little breathing awareness drill where we can be sat down and share on the floor. You don't have to be sat in this cross-legged position necessarily, and we are going to be lying down on the floor in a little bit as well. But first of all, in terms of we're going to improve our breathing and our breathing habits and change them, the central point to get us started is awareness. Until we are aware of how we currently breathe, then we're not going to be able to start to change it. Even if we give you the tools and the cues and things that you need to do in order to improve your breathing and change them, if you don't know what you're currently doing now, then it's going to be difficult for you to put those things in place. So as a starting point, I just want you to ask yourself the question, where am I breathing from? Do I breathe with the nose? Do I breathe with the mouth? Or I'm not actually aware of where I'm breathing from. And then in the body, where is it moving from? So you're going to put one hand on your upper chest, one hand below your sternum on your belly. Ask yourself that question whilst giving yourself some feedback of where you're breathing from. So just sensing, just noticing. And ideally, what we want to try and do is get a feeling and sensation of where we're breathing from, how we're breathing. So I want you to try to feel the bottom hand moving more than the top hand. But initially, it's just tuning into where you're breathing from. So you might notice that the top hand is moving, but I want you to try to dial into making the bottom hand move, which is going to be connected to our diaphragm. And hopefully if you're answering those questions of where am I breathing from, is it the nose or is it the mouth? Try to keep the mouth closed and breathe in and out nice and relaxed at your own pace. In and out through the nose. As you breathe in and out through the nose, you might find it easier to connect to that bottom hand. Because nasal breathing, there's a connection to our diaphragm. So just noticing and just tuning in. So we're trying to breathe in and out the nose, and we're trying to get the bottom hand so it's a lower breath, a deeper breath. Deep doesn't mean necessarily big. This is a nice relaxed breathing. Deep means coming from low down. Think of a swimming pool. Think of the deep end in the swimming pool. It's where the water is far from the top. So filling the lungs from the bottom up using the diaphragm. What we might, for a lot of people, we haven't used the nose that much before, the nose can be quite blocked. So I just want to do one little drill to try and help unblock the nose before we're going to do a little bit of this awareness breathing lying down on the floor. So for this little nose unblocking drill, it's a relaxed breath hold where we're going to be nodding our head, letting nitric oxide that's in the nose build up that helps clear and loosen up the nose and open the airways up a little bit. So with the oxygen advantage, all the breath holding that we do is after a normal exhale. This isn't going to be a strong one, so it's supposed to be super easy, not stressful or anything like that. But you're going to go a normal breath in, normal breath out through the nose. So pinch the nose, keep your mouth closed, hold your breath whilst you nod your head 10 times. Okay, so we'll do that together. Normal breath in, because I don't want you to be the only one sitting nodding your head. Normal breath in, normal breath out, pinch the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let go and breathe in through the nose. That's just one repetition. You might notice that the nose feels a little bit clearer as you breathe in now. You might notice that the air's a little bit colder when you breathe in. It's like you've eaten a Minto or something like that, like you can feel that clearness. Test one nostril, so block one nostril. Breathe in through one side, test the other. And you might notice that one feels a little bit more blocked than the other. The brain tends to swap which nostril is doing most of the work throughout the day. So apparently every 90 minutes, according to James Nestor's book, Breath, which is a fantastic read. But the nose, the brain uses one side of the one nostril relatively at a time. But as you start to unblock the nose, by using it more, it will tend to stay unblocked altogether. So just check in. How does it feel one side to the other? After just one repetition, mine started to feel quite clear. Now, when I very first started all of this breathing stuff, it was an absolute snowball because I wasn't used to using my nose. So as you start to use it more, the breath holding really helps clear it up, and then it's going to help to stay clear. So we'll go, if 10 felt easy, we'll try for 15. If 10 was enough, then just stay on 10. So we'll do one more. Normal breath in, normal breath out, pinch nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let go. Breathe in through the nose. Important when we let go, we breathe in through the nose because we want to take that nitric oxide that's in the back of the nose. We don't get any nitric oxide in the mouth, and that is a vasodilator helping open up those airways. So as you breathe in now, things feel an awful lot clearer. And if air is able to flow through, in and out, through the nose easier, you don't have to, when you're breathing through your nose, you don't have to do so much sucking of the air in. I want you to just let the air come in, okay? Test one side to the other. Obviously, as you get better with your breath holding and your carbon dioxide tolerance, I'm going to do other videos all explaining all about that. As you improve that, then you might be able to do 20 head nods or more. We can do 3 to 5 repetitions of these to try and clear it up. Really good to do at the start of any of your breathing practices or before you're going to do any exercise, so you find it easier to breathe in and out through the nose. So we're going to take this awareness drill where we're breathing in and out the nose, mouth stays closed, one hand on the upper chest and one hand on lower down on the tummy. And I want you to notice as you breathe in, I want you to try and notice that the bottom hand is moving down and out, connecting that breath in with the diaphragm, rather than lifting the upper chest. So if your shoulders feel tight, relax them, roll them out a little bit, try and switch them off mentally, and get that bottom hand to move. There's no reason why at rest the breathing muscles around, your shoulders, your neck muscles, your pecs can lift that rib cage at the top to help get more air in, but we don't need that when we're at rest. It should be coming from low down here. So anytime you notice muscles getting tight around here, just try to wiggle them about a bit, help switch them off, just mentally try and turn them off and tune into that bottom hand moving. Good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that onto our backs, because when we're lying down on the back, I'm getting rid of the cap for this because that won't help. So when you're lying on your back, it can be a nice position for the diaphragm to start to move. I want you to do the same thing, one hand on the upper chest, one hand on the tummy, just below where your 2 ribs meet, underneath your sternum, so hand on the tummy. And the same thing, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. But in this position lying down, you might find it easier to feel that hand or the tummy underneath the hand moving. We're not trying to push our belly out. It's not necessarily belly breathing. It's just that your diaphragm sits underneath those bottom 2 ribs. And when the diaphragm contracts and moves down, you're going to feel movement on that lower portion. And then what I want you to try and do now is really tune into the areas it's entering in and out of the nose. So you can feel on your breath in, the bottom hand moving. The top hand stays relatively stationary. If the shoulders kick in, just shrug them out, relax them, just resting. You're resting now on the floor. Just let yourself sink into the floor. You get the bottom hand to move. In and out of the nose. Keep the mouth closed. As you breathe in, the diaphragm moves down. You feel that bottom hand move. On the way out, you just relax. You just sink. No muscles needed on the exhale. We can just let everything relax. And then bringing that awareness and that attention to the nose. So just notice the nose as it enters through the nostrils. And notice it as it leaves. And as you're noticing the air move, you're feeling the bottom hand move. I want you to notice that the temperature of the air on the way in and on the way out. So really heightening your awareness and being mindful of the air. How does it feel on the inside of your nostrils? On the way in, you'll probably notice that it's slightly cooler. And on the way out, the air's been warmed up a little bit. So it feels a little bit warmer on the way out. A little bit cooler on the way in. Relax, notice it's slightly warmer on the way out. And then tune in to the sound it's making. Can you hear your breath? And I want you to try and imagine there's someone next to you. Can you slow the breathing down? So as the air enters the nose and leaves the nose, it's moving slower so it's quieter. So the breath is long, which allows you to slow it down. And as you slow it down, it becomes quieter. Can you quieten it so much that someone next to you wouldn't be able to hear you? So it's long, it's slow, and it's coming from low down. That bottom hand is the hand that's moving. And as you slow it down, you'll notice that the air doesn't feel quite so cold on the way in. Maybe you can barely feel the air moving now. And if you can, if it still feels comfortable in and out the nose, can you slow it down? The speed of the air coming in, so much so that you make the breath quiet to yourself. Can you make it silent? Your bottom hand's moving. It's a long breath, which allows you to really slow it down. So you can't hear anything as the air comes in, and as you relax and let the air go out. You might feel the air coming in and out slightly, but it's relaxed, it's calm, and it's quiet. You feel your bottom hand moving. But the breath is now silent. Really relax on the out breath. And enjoy the silence of your own breath. Okay, so come back up, try and hide my awful COVID lockdown hair. That's a little awareness drill that I really like to do with people when we're starting out. It's the type of thing that you can practice a few times during the day. You can do it lying down. It's quite nice and relaxing. What you should notice is as we start to slow the breath down and relax it, we're getting a little bit of a parasympathetic response. So that's our rest, digest response, getting us out of that sort of stress state. So anytime you feel a bit anxious or stressed during the day, you'll notice that things will tighten up, your breathing will come a little bit higher and a little bit shorter, and it might come from the mouth. So if we can dial into using the nose, getting the breath coming from lower down and slowing it down, so the breath starts to become more silent, calm and relaxing. You'll notice saliva building up in the mouth potentially now. So you can even put this in the comments, like, have you noticed now, think, oh, actually, I've got an awful lot more saliva in my mouth than when I started. That's a great sign that you've shifted away from our fight or flight, like sympathetic tone, and shifted towards a parasympathetic response. So let us know in the comments if you're able to notice more saliva building up in the mouth, and also if were you able to feel breath coming in and out the nose, were you able to keep it silent? Or quieten it down so it becomes quieter and quieter. And could you feel that starting to feel that bottom hand moving a little bit more? That's really nice to get like a nice low breath. It's slow, it's relaxed, and it is quieter. At rest, our breath shouldn't be loud. The person sat next to us shouldn't be able to hear us breathing when we're at rest. So really important that you start to heighten your awareness of how you're breathing as many times you can throughout the day, and start to teach yourself to slow things down, get the diaphragm working from low down, make it come from the nose as much as we can. And then you start to change your habits over time. It can be great to spend, you could watch this video back again a few times over the next week or so, where you spent a deliberate time practicing slowing the breath down, calming it down, quietening it down, making it come in and out of the nose and from the diaphragm. And then every time, you might just be washing the dishes and you're like, oh, how am I breathing? Or you're doing some emails and think, oh, actually, how am I breathing? Am I holding tension? And then you can start to, when you practice here like this, then you're able to take that and use it in your day-to-day breathing. And so, you're breathing all the time. So it's a perfect chance for you to be able to practice that as many times as you can throughout the day. And you don't have to be lying down to do it. Eventually, it's just going to become part and parcel of how you are breathing. And then you can take it into, like, when you're walking, can you create a similar type of feeling? And then eventually into sort of running and exercise and things like that, where the demand for more oxygen is going to challenge you in terms of your carbon dioxide tolerance, how easy you can and how clear your nose is, how easy it's able to come in and out of the nose. We're going to do a lot more videos on that, showing us how that we can then use that. But the basis for it is how are we breathing in our day-to-day breathing patterns, because everything else gets built upon that. So thank you for watching and joining. I'm going to do a series of these sort of breathing basic lessons. This is number 1, awareness, and that is where it all starts. If you have any comments or any questions, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to connecting with you and hopefully improving our breathing together. Because when we improve the way that we breathe, it can change the way how we feel, how we move, and how we perform. And look forward to helping you do that. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.